So second and about 15 for the Aurora offense at their own 10-yard line. Handoff again this time to Bailey. Bailey trying to do some shake and bake moves, has some room to run, and now a fumble, he puts it on the ground. The Falcon defense, 24 takeaways on the year, might have forced another one. We're hearing a whistle. Did they rule Bailey down before he fumbled it? We're going to say Bailey was down. It would have been a huge swing of momentum for the Falcons after a gain of 6 by Bailey, almost turned into a fumble recovery from the Falcons. But instead we'll bring up a 3rd and 9. Would be a huge stop for the Falcons, allow them to get some good field position for once in this game. They've rarely had a good opportunity field position-wise, and a stop here would go a long way to benefiting that. Zimbelman in the gun, twins to both sides, drops back to pass, looking to his left, hesitates, fires down the sideline, incomplete pass broken up by Jacob Mason. That will bring up a 4th and 9. The pass was intended for Alex Cowan, but no can do. Zimbelman unsuccessfully 7 of 14 on the day, and the punt team will head out. Excellent job by Jacob Mason. We mentioned him as a punter, as a place kicker, and you can't forget his prowess as a defensive back as well. Great coverage there. Now the punter, number 97, Ryan Baston from Wharton, Illinois, a giant of a man in terms of punters. Looks like a professional punter in terms of size. It looks like Thomas Morstead. A big guy with a big leg. Averages 40 yards per punt, 4 more than every other opponent that he's played this year. He lets off a booming punt this time. Tennette back to field it at the 45-yard line, just falls on his butt. So Tennette will fall at, they're going to say, the 44-yard line, and that's where the Falcons will take off for their second drive of the second half. They just went 3 and out, but they just forced a 3 and out from Aurora, aided by a false start penalty from the Aurora offensive line. So finally good field position for the Falcons. Their best starting point all afternoon. Last time they started at the 35, which was their best starting point at the time. Now they're at the 44. Dalton Poole in the gun. Tennette in motion. Tennette's going to take the snap, try for an end-around run. He gets up to about the 47-yard line, and a flag after the play. Going to be a late hit out of bounds. So Tennette, who gets about 7 or 8 on that carry, could have 15 yards added to the end of it. And that it will be a late hit out of bounds, and it's going to be on number 14 for Aurora, Cam Ryan. And that's going to give the Falcons an extra 15 yards and a first down off the back of that Tennette run. Ryan, 29 tackles, 19 solo, and interception as a defensive back, a sophomore from Frankfurt. He cost his team 15 yards that time. So here, Dalton Poole on his side of things for only the second time today. 32-yard line of the Spartans. Option play. Pitches it to Edwards. Edwards has room. Nice downfield blocks by the receiving corps. Edwards all the way to the 11, and another flag after the play. My, oh my. 2 back-to-back. Looks like going to be late hit out of bounds. And a great blocking effort by Ryan Wagner down the field. We give half the distance on that play. A great blocking effort. Ryan Wagner hasn't done much receiving-wise. 1 catch for 3 yards, and he dropped a jump ball down the field. But that time, created that big play with a huge block on a defensive back to free up space for Jordan Edwards to break a big run. And now the Falcons are at the 6. Down 22-0, looking to score for the first time today. First time in the red zone. Handed off to Jordan Edwards. He's got space up the middle, trying to push forward. Gets up to about the 3-yard line on first down. Edwards, a pretty solid gain. Gains about 3. That will set up a 2nd and 3, goal to go for the Falcons. Still in the shotgun. Twins out to the right, Wagner out to the left. You can see Aurora has double covered Ryan Wagner right now. He's a 6'3" wide receiver, so they're going to put 2 on him to make sure there's no jump ball situation. Hand it off to Edwards again. Edwards falling forward, touchdown Falcons! Jordan Edwards finds room up the middle, and the Falcons are on the board, 22-6. And this team that had momentum coming into the second half finally gets on the board and gets back in this football game. If Mason makes this extra point, we're 22-7. That's only a 2-score game if they would convert 1 2-point conversion. So the Falcons very much in this football game right now, looking for back-to-back conference wins. Here comes the Mason kick. Easy for Jacob Mason, 22-7. The Falcons have some life. Jordan Edwards, 15 carries for 64 yards, a big drive for him that ends in a touchdown. And a huge run by Edwards to create that touchdown. A big play by Isaiah Tannett to run down the field on a scamper of his own. A couple of big blocks by Ryan Wagner and a couple of helpful penalties against Aurora. Give the Falcons their first score of the game. So Falcon defense has woken up. They forced a 3-and-out from Aurora. They stopped Aurora when they had a goal-to-go situation and forced a field goal. The Falcons are right in this football game. It hasn't seemed like it much of the day. The first half, it was a very one-sided affair where Aurora ran for over 200 yards on the ground. The Falcons were not even close to scoring the football. But now in half number 2, the Falcons are outscoring Aurora 7-3 in the third quarter. And they're very much in this game. The fans, those who have chosen to brave out the cold and rain, are behind the Falcons. And the Falcons bench is pumped up. This team looks ready to play, ready to make a comeback. Marquette will win their opening draw off the cross of Lindsey Wilcox. And Marquette will cross midfield and head to their offensive possession, but not before an early foul. And tackled to the ground was Logan Dobratz, one of the captains on this team, a junior midfielder. Gets right back up and starts the Marquette offense. Their first possession of the game. We know how important possession is in lacrosse. If you can win in that draw control circle, it really changes the flow of the game. Exactly. Behind the net for Marquette is Megan Menzuber. Menzuber, a sophomore, Chanhassen, Minnesota. Now up top to Kate Sacadato. She's from Huntington, New York. A lot of East Coast players on this Marquette team, but pretty normal for a standard lacrosse team. Sport that was born and bred in the East Coast is a shot off the left side of Marquette, and Grace Gabriel is blocked early, so an early stop for the goalkeeper for the Purple Eagles, Audrey DeVoe, and now the Purple Eagles trying to clear, and they get that clear early, so an early stop for Niagara. Here they come on offense. And a foul inside the arc, so that'll be an early free position shot as well. So Niagara gets a stop. And now he's going to get a free position chance, and we'll get into the fouls here in a second for Marquette right after this free position shot takes place. Alexis Morales will be the one to take it. She's from Levittown, New York. A junior, 44 goals last season. And she finds the back of the net, so Marquette down to Niagara 1-0 after Alexis Morales' free position shot. And that has really been the Achilles heel of this Marquette team this year. They've given up now 59 in total free position shots and 32 free position goals. In contrast, they've only attempted 30 and scored 13.
Yeah, the free position shot and putting people on that 8-meter arc has been traumatic for them. They need to stop fouling as much. Coach Black said that has definitely been a predominant problem for them, especially against Kennesaw State, that they knew that they were foulers, that they were going to put them on the line a lot. But Marquette just needs to be aware.
Well, for Morales, that's 3 goals on the season, 3 assists, so 6 total points for her in her junior year. Trying to follow up on a 48-point season from last year. She was an all-rookie honoree her freshman year in 2016, but could not get any conference honors last year, though you'd think 44 goals would be enough.
Yeah.
Draw control won by Marquette. Grace Gabriel has it on her cross right now, looking for space. And Marquette having a tough time getting across midfield early, and that's something that they have struggled with all season as well, only clearing at a 73% rate, while they're allowing other teams to clear at an 84% rate. Menzuber on the left side. Now up top to Allison Lane. Marquette working it around, trying to take their time, trying to get a score on the board. We're 28 minutes left in this first half. 2 minutes in. Left side, Menzuber. Shot goes wide, right out of bounds. And Marquette will keep possession. Important to have that point player behind the net to keep possession when a shot goes out. You see a coach really get mad when on a shot that goes too far, a player's not there, and they lose possession. That's when you see a coach really get mad.
Yes. This defense is looking pretty strong right now. Looks like they have about 2 to 3 players on each ball.
Well, Marquette will get a chance after a foul was called, I believe, inside the arc. And yes, it will. So an 8-meter shot, a free position shot for Charlotte McGuire. She had a couple good games here in the Dome. 4 against Kennesaw, 3 goals against Stetson. She's trying to net one early here with a free position shot. The senior from Northfield. And she does it. Charlotte McGuire gets Marquette on the board, 1-1. So 2 free position shots have us tied up with 27-25 remaining in the first. For McGuire, that's her 11th goal, 12 points on the season now for the senior. She had a point streak going before she ran into kind of a brick wall against Notre Dame. She only had 1 shot, 1 turnover, 4 fouls, and no goals, no points even for McGuire. So now she's back on the board, back at home in the Dome, but she's happy to be here.
Yeah, look at her smiling right now. Did you see that?
Always good to score your first goal for McGuire. Last year she had 15 of them, 2 assists. Well, you spoke to Niagara's defense, and you're right, they've been looking stout so far. How does Marquette combat a tougher defense like this? What are their strategies that they normally use?
I think fast break defense is going to have to be a major part of Marquette's defense. We saw this last home game against Stetson. Alex Gambacorta was a major factor in fast break defense and kind of setting the tone and mentality for Marquette. So I think they're going to look for her today to set the tone as well.
We haven't said Alex Gambacorta's name yet, and that normally is kind of the situation in most broadcasts. Gambacorta, she's a senior. She's only 5'1", but she is a grinder out there, a hard worker, and one of the main stalwarts for this Marquette defense. As Marquette's going to be on offense right now, I see when you have to see Gambacorta right now, but there she is right there in midfield, a little bit off the camera. Allison Lane has it for Marquette on offense. Marquette behind their own net now. Menzuber off the left side. We'll get into Gambacorta later, I promise. She's really important. Marquette now on offense, and a shot, a wild one from Kate Sacadato goes wild right. Marquette does get the ground ball off the rebound, so they'll reset up their offense up top. And now another foul. So Marquette will get a second free position chance. This time it'll be Riley Hill. Marquette Golden Eagles taking on the Providence Friars just 24 hours after Marquette knocked off number 12 in the country, Creighton, and took hold of the Big East all to themselves. They are first in the Big East Conference right now at 6-0, 12-5 overall. So Marquette making statements early on in this season. And one of the big storylines has been Jenna Rosenthal, the junior middle from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. She is 6'6", and she does it all. She is top 25 of the Big East in 5 different categories. She's 16th in kills per set, 6th in aces per set, 5th in blocks per set, 11th in points per set, and 7th in hitting percentage. And you don't often see a versatile player like Jenna Rosenthal at 6'6". To be able to serve for herself in rotation is something that is unmatched throughout the country. At 6'6", to be able to consistently get serves across the net, to have 19 aces and 16 service errors is incredible for Rosenthal. Also for Marquette, Anna Hawk, the junior outside. She transferred in from Miami, Florida this season, and she has become an all-around great player for Marquette. Last night, she displayed incredible back row play. She had 19 digs. She struggled on the attack, but her 19 digs were one of the tops on the team, and she saved a lot of points for Marquette kept the ball alive against Creighton's fantastic hitters like Jaylee Winters, and Marquette pretty much shut down Jaylee Winters last night. We'll look at her really quick. And Winters, one of the top attackers coming into this game in the country. Winters, 8 kills, 6 errors, only hit 6% last night. So Winters really struggling. She had 3 receiving errors as well. Marquette also able to shut down the Big East Conference Player of the Year from last year, Lydia Dimke, last night. She only had 19 assists. She only had 5 kills as well. So Dimke, though good last night, wasn't her normal dominant self. In 2 games against Marquette last year, she amassed almost 90 kills in total, did Dimke, and Marquette again shut her down as well as they did the rest of the team. Another standout for Marquette as of late has been Martha Konovatov, the freshman from Sugar Grove, Illinois, has stepped into the role of libero and come up big for Marquette this year. 3rd in the Big East right now with 4.25 digs per set. Last night, 11 digs, 5 assists. And though she had been struggling a little bit as of late in recent games like DePaul and St. John's, came through when they needed her. Against Creighton last night, really everybody played well. There's no one you could say bad things about, especially in this freshman class, especially Elizabeth Orth, who is 12th in blocks per set in the Big East and quickly emerging as one of the top blockers in the Big East. She was a top 50 recruit coming into this season, and she has shown her stuff. She was dominant at the net. We mentioned already how great Marquette was at the net last night with 16 block assists against a Creighton team that only hit 9% for the entire match. So dominance for Marquette all of last night. They'll look to repeat that last night, or what happened last night to today. And this game is right before Marquette Madness. Marquette Madness scheduled to start at 7 sharp. So Marquette will try and get this game over in 2 quick hours and try and sweep this thing 3-0 and keep their straight sets record intact. They've only not had a straight set game in one of their Big East games, and that was against Xavier when they won 3-1. Every other win has been 3-0. Another storyline for tonight is the floor is a bit different than normal. Normally there's a pad on this floor, but because of the quick transition for Marquette Madness, the padding is not there. So we'll see if that affects Marquette at all. Providence isn't used to the pad, so it shouldn't affect them, but it might affect Marquette. We'll have to see how that goes moving forward. We're about ready to start, though. And serving for the Providence Friars will be Allison Barber. Don't get her confused with Marquette's Allie Barber. She's a freshman from Woodbury, Minnesota. She gets it over. Speckman. Rosenthal blocking the net early. Marquette has it. Speckman hits it over. Left side. Addison Root goes for a kill, but Marquette digs it out. Konovatov gets it over. Providence setting up. Back to Root on the left side, but she hits it right into the net, so an attack error for Addison Root makes it 1-0 Marquette early. We talked about Root, one of the most dangerous attackers in the Big East at 3.67 kills per set on the season, hitting 23%, but an attack error early. Marquette serves. Bad pass from the back row, and Jenna Rosenthal takes advantage. Rosenthal takes the bad pass and deposits it for an early point. 2-0 Marquette. On the serve for the Golden Eagles is Hope Wirch. And a nice receive by Megan Onyundo. But Providence cannot connect as a bad hit on their side goes out of bounds. And Marquette up 3-0. Hope Wirch still serving. Wirch gets it over again. Set up over the middle this time for Kayla Vaverka, but an attack error on Vaverka makes it 4-0 Marquette. And the worry tonight was maybe Marquette would have a letdown game after the Creighton game last night, but early on looking pretty good as Marquette. Root on the left side again, gets past the Marquette blocker hands, but Marquette does save it. Now Speckman setting for Anna Hawk, she just gets it over. Providence receives. Root trying on the left side, but she goes well too long, so 2 attack errors on Addison Root quickly in set number 1. Makes it 5-0 Marquette. Hope Wirch still serving on this 5-0 rally for Marquette. Megan Onyundo gets it over. Anna Hawk for Marquette. Tipped at the line. Providence receives. Now trying Root on the left side, but she gets blocked down by Rosenthal and Speckman. Addison Root having no success against Marquette early. 2 attack errors, and that time blocked out of the way. 6-0 Marquette.